My name is Ethan Feinschreiber, and I have a passion for educating the world about snakes. If there's one thing that snakes do better than most other animals I'm aware of, it's camouflage. In South Louisiana, snakes blend in all over the place, whether it be in dead branches, on the forest floor, in the water, and especially the leafy green foliage of the forest canopy. It is here you will find Louisiana's prime tree-dwelling snake, the rough green snake. This elegant snake is virtually impossible to find during the day. However, their reflective belly scales make them stick out like a sore thumb in the luminescence of a flashlight. This is why it's best to look for these snakes at night, and let me tell you, there were a lot of them.
Yeah, look how much bigger the big one is compared to the small one.
All right. Wait, how many are in there?
11.
I guess it's big 12 right there.
What the What is going on? That's a few snakes. All of them are rough green snakes. Oh my goodness. I don't even have to hold them anymore. They hold onto each other pretty darn well. What you are looking at is the rough green snake. This is one of my favorite snakes that you can find here in Louisiana because it's basically like a North American version of a vine snake. Vine snakes are some of my favorite snakes out there just because of their long, slender, elegant appearance, and the rough green snake is very, very similar to that. It gets its name because it actually has a little ridge on each and every scale that's called a keel. That keel on every single scale gives it this rough texture, hence the name. They're definitely not as strong of keels as, say, like a garter snake, so it doesn't feel as rough as something like that. But it definitely is not the smoothest snake out there. This is definitely a very different snake from the smooth green snake. In case you haven't seen that episode, make sure you go check that out, because the smooth green snake is the closest thing to this you can find back home where I live in Utah. The rough green snake is very different because instead of living mostly on the ground, it actually lives almost its entire life up in the trees. So it is an arboreal snake. These guys are diurnal, which means that they are out during the day. So they'll be active out during the day hunting their food. But when we found this guy is actually at night. And that is actually the best time to look for these snakes, believe it or not. So they blend in really well during the day and of course at night. However, these guys glow neon green in a flashlight, making them actually much easier to find at night. Another really interesting thing about these guys is that they have a prehensile tail. And that means that they use their tail to grip onto things like trees. So for example, their tail is super strong to the point they can hold up their entire body weight. That is basically just how much these guys are acclimated to trees. On top of that, not only are these guys rougher than the smooth green snake, they're also quite a bit bigger. The smooth green snake only gets about 20 inches in length, whereas these guys can get upwards of about 3 feet in length. These guys, of course, are not usually as thicker bodied as smooth green snakes. They're much more long and slender. They also live in fairly different geographical ranges as well. This is a non-venomous species. This is completely harmless. I am in absolutely no danger. And if you see one of these guys, just know this is a completely harmless snake that you do not need to worry about. They pose absolutely no threat to humans or anything else. They actually are an extremely vital part of this ecosystem. Their favorite thing to eat is invertebrates, which is basically like insects and bugs and stuff like that, especially like katydids. However, we weren't seeing very many bugs last night. All we were seeing was baby sleeping anoles, and I'm thinking there's a possibility that these guys are actually out there eating those too. Now, these guys' geographical range is actually really impressive. These guys are mostly found throughout the southeastern United States, but they go all the way into the deserts of West Texas. Isn't that weird? These guys are also found in deserts, and they don't really look any different there either. They look pretty much exactly like this, but in a desert, which is really bizarre. These guys have some really incredible habits that are extremely unique. So, like vine snakes, they really try to keep up on their act of being like a vine. So one of the things these guys do is they actually will wiggle back and forth. One of the reasons you see these guys wiggle back and forth like this is they're actually trying to mimic the sway of leaves in the wind. Like vine snakes are known for doing this as well. Do these guys make a good pet? And I'm telling you guys, as soon as I saw this snake, I'm like, I want to keep this snake as a pet. I know I can make its enclosure beautiful, and because it's such a small and delicate snake, it's not like it would absolutely ruin my enclosure, and I only have to feed it bugs and stuff. So those are basically things you'd feed lizards, so these guys would eat those too, right? I don't know. Honestly, I just don't think there is enough research on keeping smooth green snakes in captive to know if we can keep these guys as pets. I feel like it can happen, but I just can't say for sure. So if you see one of these guys in the wild, definitely leave it in the wild. But let me know if there's any breeders of these snakes, because I might be looking for one. They are really docile snakes. I've never seen one of these guys even attempt to bite people. They are just really, really chill snakes, which I absolutely love. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to educate yourselves on the rough green snake. I will see you guys next time with possibly an even cooler snake. When camouflage is easy for a snake, it means that there could be hundreds of them around us, and we'd never know it. This ensures that they stay hidden from predators and remain undetectable to their prey. For these animals to survive, we need to protect more than just the snakes themselves. We need to protect what they use to survive as well. The bugs they eat, the trees they live in, and even the natural predators that they've evolved to avoid. It's a self-sustaining ecosystem that we should never taint out of fear or ignorance. If you enjoyed this episode of Snakes on the Brain, let me know by giving this video a like, and if you want to learn about other snakes I've caught, make sure to subscribe.